Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I once again welcome you all in our video lecture number 4, I guess, and inshallah today we will be reading the second part of the chapter interview. The day before yesterday we have completed the first part of the interview. The next part is about the real interview, in the sense that a person from the Hindu, a correspondent from the Hindu newspaper named Mokan, actually interviewed one of the most famous author and philosopher, Umberto Eco. Umberto Eco was an Italian thinker and a philosopher, and first and foremost, before accepting the parlance, I really apologize from each and every one of you that I have promised you to go for an online class. Unfortunately, due to impunctuality and immaturity of the network connection, I wasn't able to continue today, and that's why I switched to once again the uploading scheme of the videos, and I really apologize, and I'm sure that you will definitely overlook it. So without taking any more time, let me remind you, yesterday we have reached the day before yesterday that the opinion of Dennis Bryan about the interview, according to him, the interview is something which explores someone's philosophical understanding regarding an issue. Part 2. I'm a professor who writes novels on Sundays, Umberto Eco. The pronunciation will be Umberto. Umberto is itself a Latin word which means a great warrior. So Umberto Eco is a famous professor who writes novels on Sundays. It means he writes a novel on his leisure time, on free time, or I would say on holidays. The following is an extract from an interview of the Umberto Eco. The interviewer is Mukan Padmanabhan from the Hindu. The interviewer is Mukund and the interviewee is Umberto Eco. And this, the whole description which we are going to study is the extract. Dear student, extract in the Urdu word iqtibas. Iqtibas means few important points from a very long paragraph, or a succinct short information out of a long and elongated paragraphs. Who was Umberto Eco here? A professor at the University of Bologna in Italy. He had already acquired a formidable reputation as a scholar for his ideas on semiotics. Dear students, the narrator is actually telling us about Umberto Eco. Umberto Eco is a professor at Bologna University in Italy. He's famous. He's very famous personality for his philosophy regarding the semiotics. Dear students, semiotics is a branch of philosophy which dealt with in which a person dealt with the science, which means the inferences or the references or sort of the ultimate meaning of special science. For example, the Greek letter alpha, which is an alphabet. What does it actually means? In order to understand all these intricacies, or I would say the implicit difficulties of such science, is called the branch of semiotics. So Umberto Eco was a scholar of the semiotics. Besides that, he was a literary interpretation. Dear students, literary interpretation का उर्दू में मतलब होता है शारह अदब का मतलब हो गया बेटा जो किसी टेक्स्ट बुक को एक्सप्लेन करता हो, उस पर कमेंट्री करता हो. मसलन कुरान करीम या होली किताबों का जो इंटरप्रिटेशन करने वालों को बोलते हैं. इंटरप्रेट का मतलब होता है, इंटरप्रेट का मतलब एक वर्ड को या एक फ्रेज को या एक सेंटेंस को स्प्लिट ऑफ करना, टुकड़े करना, ताकि जो रीडर है वो अच्छी तरह से समझ पाए. तो एक तो वो सीमियोटिक्स का माहिर है, दूसरा लिटरेरी तो लिटरेचर तो हो गया, अदब जितनी भी अदब की किताबें लिखी गई हैं उनमें वो इंटरप्रेट करता है. and medieval aesthetic before he turned to writing fiction. Or medieval का मतलब है दरमियानी period, and the aesthetic. This is a branch of philosophy which deals with beauty of natural art. Aesthetic is the field where a philosopher, a thinker, reads about the proper reality of the existential world. For example, we say when an aesthetic looks at a tree or looks at a huge mountain, he perceives something more profound than the apparent thing, which means by looking at the mountain, the aesthetic, the philosopher of aestheticism, looks the creator of that mountain. And that's why he was the philosopher of semiotics, literal interpretation, aesthetic. These were the fields on which Umberto Eco was having a quite great hold, or was a great knower of all these sciences. And after putting his entire life for these philosophies, he later changed his ideas and he starts to write fiction. And now fiction is the opposite of reality. In Urdu we call it afsana. Afsana means something made out of the unreasonable, or I would say imaginations or the speculations of a thinker, is called fiction. So the person Umberto Eco, the philosopher who has a hold on all these sciences, later switched it to writing fiction. Literary fiction and the fiction based upon literature, academic texts, and the books for reading in using in universities and colleges, essays, children's books, and the books for children's, newspaper articles. His written output is staggeringly equivalent of an intellectual superstardom with the publication of The Name of the Rose. Besides writing fiction, he also wrote about children's books and articles for the newspapers, etc. And he was in all these fields staggeringly. Dear students, staggeringly का माना staggeringly का मतलब हो गया in an astonishing way. In an astonishing way means if someone is doing something with the most profound and accurate way, we would say he's doing this thing staggeringly in a penetrative way. Means he is reading or he's addressing the thing up to the level which it deserves to be interpreted. It means staggeringly, यानी घुस के किसी इन चीजों को लिखने में उसको इतनी महारत हो गई थी कि वो काफी एडवांस हो चुका था. He acquired the equivalent of intellectual superstardom. Students, superstardom का मतलब होता है एक आदमी का बहुत फेमस हो जाना किसी काम को लेकर. To be very famous in a field, surpassing others. This is very important. When someone is superstardom, it simply means on that particular field, he is surpassing others in all aspects, in all dimensions of that particular issue. When Umberto Eco became a superstardom, when his publication named The Name of the Rose, which sold more than 10 million got 10 million copies. It means when a book entitled The Name of the Rose got published, written by the Umberto Eco, based upon the philosophical work regarding their book, he becomes a superstardom. Means the book becomes a bestseller by which everybody was talking about Umberto Eco. Makun asks him, the English novelist and academic David Lodge once remarked, I can't understand how one man can do all the things he does. Right here, Mukan is, by starting his interview by describing Umberto Eco, that the Mukan says, respected sir, one of the philosopher, academian and novelist, David Lodge remarked about you that he is in a state of perplexation, he is in a state of quagmire, that he is very astonished about you, and that's why, based upon his astonishment, he wants to mark it. I can understand how Umberto Eco does many and multitude of things. He's just one man, and at one time, how can he do all these things? I mean, Mukul is describing the astonishment of David Lodge regarding the philosophical understanding of Umberto Eco. यानी मुकन ये कहता है कि जनाब डेविड लोच का कहना है कि आप किस तरह से सब कुछ कर पाते, तो बस उसका जवाब सुनो। उम्बर्तो को कहता है, मे बी आई गिव द इम्प्रेशन ऑफ डूइंग मेनी थिंग्स बट इन द एंड आई एम कन्विंस्ड आई एम ऑलवेज डूइंग द सेम थिंग। देन टू द क्वेश्चन ऑफ मुकन, उम्बर्तो को आई मीन रिस्पॉन्ड दैट मे बी आप ये कह सकते हो मुकुंद साहब कि मैं जो है आपकी बात से या जो लोग कह रहे हैं मेरे बारे में ठीक हूं, या जो कुछ मैं कर रहा हूं उसमें मुतमईन हूं, लेकिन बिलाखिर मैं आपको बता दूं मैं जो कुछ भी कर रहा हूं दरअसल एक ही चीज कर रहा होता हूं। तो ये जवाब थोड़ा बहुत, इट वाज अ सॉर्ट ऑफ फिलोसॉफिकल आंसर टू द क्वेश्चन posed by the Mukund, and the video is getting a bit longer. I am finishing this video right here. From tomorrow onwards, I will inshallah study further. Thank you for watching this video, and have a nice day. If you confront any problem regarding the phrases or the words, you just give me a buzz. I will be at your service. Khuda Hafiz.